Hi everybody, this is Maureen Wong for YourNextStamp.com. As promised in the May 2014 new releases video, I said I would have a separate video going into more detail on the Pillow Box die set, so here it is. Here's the Pillow Box die set in case you didn't see the new release video. All that it comes with are the dies to make the actual box itself. You get this one for a decorative piece that fits perfectly on the sides of the boxes, and then you get these nesting dies, sets of ovals and rectangles to go on top of the box, or you can actually cut them out of the box. I'll show you some ideas for those. And then we have two off the edge dies, and you can see here one says celebrate and the other one says happy birthday. So I've gone through and cut a couple of samples to show you how this all works, and first of all how it goes together. Now I cut this out of just plain white cardstock, and the die, when you run it through your die cutting machine, will actually produce all of these score lines. So the first thing you're going to do is make sure all of those score lines are folded, and there's these little curved lines. You probably can't see that on camera. Yeah, but you'll be able to see it in person, and you just gotta gently fold on those lines and they'll make a nice little curve for you, and you have to do it on 4 sides. So you just kind of do it gently and carefully and it will fold for you. And if you're having trouble folding on your fold lines, you might want to adjust the sandwich that you're using in your die cutting machine. Maybe you need to add a shim, or if you have the new Evolution die cutting tool, you might want to turn it to a little higher number so that it presses the score lines in a little bit more firmly into the paper you're using. Since I'm using Georgia-Pacific cardstock, it's a pretty lightweight cardstock, so it might not tend to score as well, but if you use a heavier cardstock, it should score really nicely with the score lines in the die. So you can see that I have, oh wait, I have one more. That just goes really easy, and the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. Okay, so that's it. And then before adhering it together, you're going to want to decorate it. So I cut a panel using this decorative panel die from the set twice out of pattern paper, once from this green one, and then once from the yellow. And then with the yellow, I went ahead and used the edge die to cut happy birthday out of the top of it. So that was actually done in 2 passes through the machine. The first one to cut the panel itself, and then the second one to cut the happy birthday out of the top. So in case you're wondering how you should adhere this, and you want to adhere your panels to your box really well, because when you fold it up, it's gonna curve, and if you don't have this adhered down, it's going to stick out, and you might risk the chance of smashing them or ripping them off even. So I'm going to show you one way to adhere it, and first what I do is just use my ATG gun, and you're going to want to make sure you get all those long edges and the short edges adhered well, because that's going to keep the panel on when the box is folded. And then what I'm going to take is this Zig 2-way glue pen, and I prefer a chisel tip. You don't have to use one that's quite as large as this. They have smaller chisel tips, but I like the chisel tip better than the, this is called the Squeeze and Roll. It has like a pen tip, because you'd actually have to go take your die cut and actually draw on all of those little bits to get the glue on there. But with the chisel tip, it's a lot easier. All I do is just dab it down, and I have this on my Ranger nonstick craft mat here, and I just go over it, and I don't have to trace the letters. You can see that I'm just going through here and putting the glue on. Sorry about that. My son wanted a snack. And you can see I have extra glue on my mat, but what I do is just wipe it off with my hand like I did there. Or you can take a baby wipe and that glue comes right off. And that's as easy as it is. And then we adhere the panel down. And you've got this really cool happy birthday at the top of that panel. And then for this other one, it's just the same decorative panel cut out of pattern paper, and again I'm going to adhere it on all 4 sides with my ATG gun. And stick that down. And then what I've done here is I used another one of the dies in the set. This is one of the nesting rectangles. You can see that here. I used the largest, the scallop rectangle die, to cut this out of the same plain white cardstock. I stamped a sentiment. This is from our new Smiley Happy Critter Crew set 4. And then I stamped these decorative flourishes from our flourishes set on the side in olive ink to kind of match the green paper that I cut out. And you can see how that's just a nice little decorative touch. The rectangle was a bit longer than the sentiment, so there was a little bit of white space here, and you could leave that white, or what I did was fill it in with the flourishes set, because that's actually what I meant the flourishes set to be for, is to sort of fill in little white areas. If you don't necessarily want them to be white space, you can stamp them in black or in a colored ink for a little more subtle look. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere that down, and you want to stick this down pretty well also, because it's going to be folded along with the box and might come up at the edges. So I'm just going to stick that down onto my green pattern paper panel. And my box is decorated, and of course you can decorate as much or as little as you want. You can put ribbons. You might want to do some of your trimming afterwards, but for these panels it's probably easier if you do it before assembly, or at least if you adhere this side, it's still flat, so before you push in these folded sides you want to adhere your decorations to the outside of the box. And then I'm going to go ahead and put adhesive on the tab. And I put a double line of adhesive just to make sure that it stays together, because this is going to be a box. I flip that over and I'll just close the box on itself onto that flap and press it down. And then what you do is you take the outsides, the edges, and I stick down the flap that has the little circular cutout goes down first, and that circular cutout is so that when you open it, you can open this flap just by putting your finger there, and then this one you can actually put your finger inside of that little hole to open it. So you push that one down first, and then you push the solid one down over it, and you do the exact same thing on the other side. And since you've already pre-folded this, it'll be really easy to just smush them down, and there's your box. So it says that better late than never on one side, and happy birthday. And of course you can go ahead and decorate this bottom section if you want, but I just left that blank. Another idea you can do is I designed the die so that you could cut it out of 6x6 pattern paper. So you can see this was just cut from one piece of 6x6 pattern paper, so I don't even really have to do any decorating if I don't want to, because it's already got so much pattern on it. But if I wanted to, I could put the cutout panels or some ribbon around it would be nice. And you can see from this sample how it perfectly fits a gift card. I designed it so that it would be the exact right size to put a gift card in. You can see that doesn't even really shake much because it's almost exactly the right size for the gift card. And then one other idea I have for you is how you can cut out panels. This definitely has to be done before you assemble the box. I use the oval, the nesting oval. I actually use this larger nesting oval. I cut the decorative panel from pattern paper. I adhered it to the box first with my two-way glue pen, and then I ran both layers through the die cutting machine with the larger oval stacking die, and I got this look. And for this one, I just cut the oval, the larger size stacking oval, out of the plain white cardstock itself, and then I went back and cut this piece out of the scalloped oval with the larger nesting oval inside of it. I taped these to the back of my pattern paper and ran them through together and got this little frame, and then what it can do is go ahead and adhere that frame around the circle. So you can either get like this solid sort of look with your pattern paper, or you can just do a little frame. And this is the same thing if you're wondering how to adhere something kind of delicate and small and skinny like this. I just use my Zig two-way glue pen and I'm just dabbing it, or you can rub it on however you like. And then go ahead and adhere that, and it goes perfectly over that oval. And what I meant for this is to be a peekaboo window. Let me just quickly assemble this box. Now you're probably not going to want to cut holes from both sides of your box, but basically what I wanted to do with this one is that you could have a little peekaboo. And you can even use the smaller size of the nesting oval. If you can see, this is the set. You can use the smaller size for an even smaller peekaboo hole. And you can actually put little candies in here, or, you know, maybe you're going to give away some little embellishments to a crafting friend or something like that, and you don't want them to fall out of the hole. What I would do is, just before I adhere the box together, you go ahead and stick a piece of acetate behind the window so that you can still see through it, but that nothing will fall out of the pillow box. And once again, when you go to fold the sides, you just stick in the side that has the little cutout first, and then the other side. The cutout side first, and then the solid side. And there is your cute little pillow box. And you can see how that card is in there. And it's a little peekaboo, and it's really fun. And you can go ahead and stamp a greeting right there, or you can add a piece of ribbon and tie a tag around it, or just really whatever you want. I hope you have a lot of fun with this, and thank you very much for watching. We'll see you over at yournextstamp.com.